Hello everyone and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for Thursday, April the 23rd. My name is Barry Anderson, moderator of your trading room. Any questions you may have for me, you can use this email address. This is a link to get into our free room, 100% free. You do not have to be a member of Trade Ideas to be in our free trading room. Room is open Monday to Friday between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I share my screen and I'm live on the mic. In the email that you're getting, you will see a link for the next test drive, which starts on May the 11th. It'll run May the 11th and May the 22nd. Those are 10 trading days. You'll also get 2 weekends. And it'll cost you $8.99. You'll have access to our full premium service. And this is also open for those of you who have our standard service and you want to upgrade to our premium service for those 10 trading days. Remember, if you sign up now, basically what you're doing is you're pre-registering, so you will not get any data until May the 11th. So please don't kind of harass our support people. We get a lot of calls saying, hey, I just signed up and I have no data. Remember, it doesn't start until May the 11th. Okay, well, I want to talk about one of the trades I took and then talk a little bit about GILD and the effect it had on the market. So I did something I don't often do. If you've followed me for a few years, you know that I rarely take a trade in the first 15 minutes. But I decided I like this one, this IMNG. I like the way it had been basing yesterday afternoon. It had a little pre-market pop, not much, and it looks a little bit different. Let me get to a 5-minute chart. Yeah, so I watched it. You see right there, it got up to 414 and it came down to 405. I was watching to see how well it held that 4 level. When it did this, when it got down to 405 and then it came right back up, I decided to take the trade. I actually got in here around 413. Now again, this is within the first 15 minutes and I can't, to be honest, I can't remember the last time I took a trade in the first 15 minutes. I have taken some pre-market trades, but I don't consider them exactly the same. But anyway, I just liked the way this looked, and so I hopped in this trade, and boy, did it ever work. I wish I could say I got in at 413 and I sold right at the top. Not quite, but I got rid of most, in various stages, right around there, and then look at what happened afterwards. It's choppy now, but as an initial time for me to do something like that, which I haven't done in probably years, it turned out to be a pretty good trade. As I jokingly said in the room, though, that's probably the worst thing that could happen because now I'm going to start looking for these first 15-minute trades. Typically, you know what happens typically? You get a nice candle like that in the first 5, and then you get something like that also. The next 5s, you can get them very choppy, very up and down. That is typically why I do not like to trade in the first 15 minutes. But anyway, this one worked out very, very well. If I look at it on the maybe the weekly chart's going to show. Yeah, I mean, this is the other reason. I mean, look at it on the weekly chart. Had a ton of room. So that was the other reason I decided to take the trade. It was holding over the whole number, had a lot of room. The volume was great. So I thought, okay, what the heck? For my first one in 15, to take one in the first 15 minutes, this looked like a pretty good one. Now, I do have to talk about the Guild trade or the Guild action. And this really has put a damper into the market. So GILD, so they basically, if you've been following GILD, you know they've got this remdesivir, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. This was kind of a hope that it would be not a cure, not a vaccine, but some drug that could be used with the virus. And so Guild had been really, really, if you take a look at it over the last little while, it had been selling off a little bit. Yeah, you talk about a choppy chart. But, it had moved up here on that news. But all of a sudden the news came out to that 15-minute time frame again. The news came out that basically, didn't work. They've stopped this. They've basically stopped the study. So that caused that horrible reaction if you were a GILD shareholder, but also look at the SPY. The SPY reacted not quite as dramatically, but at one point, this was one big red candle. At one point, that candle was all the way down there. Now it's starting to recover, but that was an initial reaction just to that one company. Basically, what a lot of people we're hoping that they would have that this would prove to be a successful study, but they have stopped the study now. So back to the drawing boards, I guess. So I just wanted to show you that and how something out of the clear blue, out of the absolutely the clear blue. I mean, the SPY was looking pretty good at one point. The market was up, I think, 300 points, 400 points. On that action right there, the market was only up about 50. So that caused about a 300 point swing, just like that. But again, it's recovering. That probably was an overreaction to just that one news from that one company. But hey, let's face it, a lot of talk around GILD and what they're trying to do. So that's too bad. It really is too bad. Anyway, I do want to get back into the room. I should also point out one thing here is that why I saw IMGN in the first place is I've created this top list out of the pharmaceutical preparation manufacturers, okay? And how I did that, and I really encourage you to do something like this. If you don't have the similar tab on our single stock window, that means you don't have the latest beta. So go to our homepage, and when you find the download link, go to scroll down until you see the beta. Then you'll have the similar. So what the similar does, hopefully this doesn't move. If I click on IMGN, where are you? Click on IMGN, and what it's doing is it's looking at the pharmaceutical preparation manufacturing sector, okay? These are all the stocks in that sector. And so what I did to create this top list out of this is I popped it out, okay? This popped out in another, okay? I popped it out, and then now that this is a top list, I can start to create the filters that I want. So, I only am really interested in looking at stocks between 1 and 35. Current volume is at least 2 with 100,000 shares minimum. Things you can't do necessarily in here. In here. And then the other thing I did is I added a column. I added the position and range column, okay? And then I sort on it. So let me just show you what that looks like. So what that means is that if I look at IMUX, that's at the top of the day's range. Now, interestingly, this is down for the day. They did a financing at 850, but it is really shrugging that off. But I love this. This is what found me a trade yesterday, fairly late in the day, around 1 o'clock. I think it was CDLM or something like that. Just looking at this top list window and checking to see what stocks were near the high of the day and were they trading in some kind of a pattern. So in other words, you can take a look at some of these, even though they're like, people say to me, well, how can you trade a stock that's trading at the high of the day? Well, it's not that I'm just taking it because it's at the high of the day, but let's just, for argument's sake, say it was kind of basing there. And then all of a sudden get some volume and it's popping. And there's lots of room on that daily and weekly and monthly chart. So there's nothing really stopping it. And so that's why I'm interested in looking at stocks near the highs. So unfortunately, I don't have my, so if I bring this 5-minute chart, you see there's IMMUX right at the high of the day. It's still down for the day, but it is really bouncing off that 850 financing price. So I would encourage you to start using our single stock window, using the similar tab. You don't have to follow the pharmaceuticals. You might want to follow energy stocks or drillers or retailers or whatever sector you really want to follow. And I liked following this one because this is always an active sector. I mean, bios are always going to be active, and so for me, it's interesting. Even when we're finally kind of back to normal, when we're hopefully have the viruses behind us, the pharmaceutical sector is always an active sector. So that's why I like to follow it. All right, everybody, I want to get back into the room and bring back the capture program. So if you have any questions for me, you can use this email address. And this is a link to get into the free room. I'll open the room tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.